Hi, everybody. Welcome again to the From Trauma to Triumph Summit. I'm so happy you tuned in again. We are winding down to the last days, and I'm so excited. We have some awesome speakers thus far, some powerful stories of overcoming traumatic experiences. And I'm like watching replays already because you just can't get enough. And everybody shared wonderful strategies of how they actually coped through their experiences, how they made it. Now that they're living in their purpose and their dreams, and they still on that journey, but they've really been here to be so supportive of you and help you come out of whatever traumatic experience you may be experiencing or anybody you know may be experiencing. And so we just want to be here for you. Everybody left their information for you. Don't forget to get in contact with anybody you feel connected to or their story resonated with you. Everybody has just such an awesome spirit and services and programs that they have for people, because that's what we do. We all are servants. So I'm so excited about tonight because I have my cousin on, but not just because she's my cousin, but she's an extraordinary woman. I always admire her. She's a woman of strength. She's been through so much, and she always have joy and happiness when I see her, and you just never think, and that's what it's about when you go through stuff and you come out, and like I always say, when you with God, you never look like what you've been through. But she just always have, just happy and joyful. And that's just a great thing, because the stuff that we go through in life, sometimes it just takes the wind out of you. And you will have those moments, but it's awesome when you can get back up, get your life back, get your strength back, and keep moving and be a blessing to other people. And so I'm so glad to have Melissa Clare Hobson. Thank you, Millie, for being, I call her Millie because that's my cousin. Hey, Millie.
Hey, cuz.
I'm so glad to have you. Anyway, I know you, but I want to read a little bit of your bio so we can everybody else can get to know you a little bit better, and then I'll let you expound and elaborate on what you do and all of that great stuff. So, Melissa Clare Hobson was born and raised in East Harlem, New York. We the New York girls. New York to West Indian parents. She was raised in Jamaica with her grandparents. She attended public school and gained an associate's degree in 1984 from Manhattan Community College. In 1993, she relocated to Richmond, Virginia. You've been here for a while. Well, you've been where I'm at for a while. You just moved again. Later in the year, she gave birth to a daughter, Shayna. She has a granddaughter, Cassidy, 6 years old, and she's a wife to Robert Hobson. She earned her bachelor's degree in forensic crime scene investigation. So homegirl is very smart. In 2010, from Virginia Commonwealth University. She is an author, and in her spare time, she loves to spend time speaking at jails and institutions, colleges, sharing her story, being a vessel and a testament of God's goodness. And she loves to sing, "I don't look like what I've been through." I love it. That's what I'm talking about. Sounds like a book to me, y'all know. Another book. Oh my God, that's awesome.
That and spaghetti.
Right. Some spaghetti. Save your life. Oh my God, I'm so happy about this. I thank you, Melissa, for being there to join us and everything. And you have such a powerful story. So I'm so glad that you're here to share with the people. And I've been getting testimonies of people saying that they've been blessed, they've been touched by everybody's story. Somebody can identify with somebody. And that's what I want people to understand and to get. So I do want you to mention your book, but introduce yourself more to the people. And then I want you to get into whatever experience you want to discuss. Take the wheel.
Well, thank you, cousin. I want to thank you for the opportunity. I had the opportunity to listen to and watch most of the speakers during the summit, and it has been a blessing. I'm telling you, blessed by every single person. And so I am honored to be amongst those who get to share their testimony. And I'm just excited about this opportunity. I'm just excited about it. So when I was thinking about what I was going to talk about, I wanted to start with the beginning, like we all do. Yes. And what came to mind was low self-esteem. Low self-esteem, because for me, that started very, very early. Being raised in New York, in Harlem, I went to a Hispanic school. And all the little girls, they had long hair and things like that. And this was in the 60s and 70s. And so I had a afro, and
Right.
natural hair. And I would be teased in school. They would tease me in school. They would call me a monkey and things
Wow.
like that in Spanish. And so from very early on, I would say fourth grade, I had a low self-esteem, a low picture of myself. I felt ugly. I felt that I didn't belong. And so I think that's where my quest to want to belong to something began.
Right.
And yeah, growing up, I grew up with a stepfather and my mother, um, and later on, I had a little sister, Charmaine, but it was a functional, dysfunctional family, if you can get that. My stepdad, he was, an addict, and my mom, she was a working class woman, but I was raised in that atmosphere, and my biological father was a person of the streets. So I saw him be abusive to my stepmom. And in my mind, I thought to myself, I don't like men because I don't like the things that I'm seeing. And so in my mind, I set out, in my young mind, I set out that I was going to dog every man I met because of the treatment that they were giving women. And so that's the idea I had early on. And so I set out to do that with everyone I met. With
Mm.
everyone I met, I had no regard for them. I was very spoiled as well. So to me, there wasn't too much that a man could do for me. So they were basically a tool.
Mm.
The low self-esteem took me to places. I became very promiscuous because I wasn't taught the value of my temple.
Wow.
And so to me, it was a tool as well.
Yes.
And I used that tool to do everything that I wanted to do. And along the road, I used every person I met. Um, and that road took me on a long journey of destruction, of not loving myself, getting into addiction and getting into relationships that were abusive, emotionally, physically, um, and it was a long, hard road. It was a long, hard road. I was on drugs for the 80s, all of the 80s, and some parts of the 90s. And it took me to places that I would have never wished on my worst enemy, you know. But there was always God.
Mm.
God, and I grew up in the church.
Right.
So I knew of God. But the God that I was raised with was that fire and brimstone God.
Mm. Okay.
So when I was in the world doing worldly things, I shunned myself away from God because I knew He saw everything I did. And I was ashamed. I was ashamed because I knew that the Lord sat high and looked low. And He was with me in those crack houses, and He was with me, wherever I was. But I turned a blind eye to Him, hoping that if I ignore Him, that He wouldn't see. It was twisted the way I thought. But I always knew God was there. And I knew God was there because with all the destruction and things that I did, I can say that nothing ever really happened to me that was really bad. Um, And I know that it was because he watched over me. And I know that he sent his angels to watch over me. And that long road took me to awful, awful places. Just awful, awful places. And I'm just grateful today that, I'm still here to live through it. And I give God all the glory that he constantly, because he's no respecter of persons.
Right.
And his mercy just is everlasting. And I know I don't deserve anything that he has bestowed upon me, but he does, because he loves me that much, because I'm the apple of his eye.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that because, when you go to the grocery store and you go picking for apples, you look for the best apple
Yes.
you can find. You don't want any bruising on it. You don't want it to be green. You want the most perfect apple you can find.
Yes.
And that's what we are to God.
Yes.
We are the apple of his eye.
Yes.
And so I had to learn that. It
Right.
took a long, long time. I had to get self-esteem back. I had to get self-respect. And how I did that was finally getting clean and going to, a 12-step program where there were other people who were like me and have been through similar things that I had been through.
Right.
And the support that I gained that helped me come back to life. The Lord led me to that place to bring me back to him. Because that place is where I learned how to have a relationship with a God of my understanding. Not that fire and brimstone God.
Right.
God is loving and is merciful. And he loves me no matter what. And he forgives me over and over again. So I built a relationship with that God. And I began to blossom into this woman that I had never known.
Wow.
And I began to be a vessel for other women.
Right.
Sponsoring other women who looked up to me and wanted to have what they saw in me. And we helped each other. And so it's been a wonderful journey, and that's why I love to carry the message to people who are less fortunate, who are still going through tough times, so they can see a person who can share a story like theirs and can see the light of God in that person to show them there's another way.
Right.
There is a God, he loves you, and he wants nothing but the best for you. So my life has just been a whirlwind. It's been up, it's been down. But like you say, I'm always happy. My mom always says that to me. She says, "You're always so happy." Yeah, I am. Because there's a lot to be happy about. I have lived a long, long time. I'm still here. To God be all the glory. I have a personal relationship with him, and that's why I'm happy.
Yes.
Because there's nothing that I can't get through without my Savior. So I don't know. I'm just grateful to him, and I'm grateful for opportunities such as this. Because you never know who needs to hear this. There could be somebody sitting out there that doesn't know what to do.
Right.
And with this summit, you've been able to reach people. You reached me, through the speakers, and I'm just glad to be able to be a part of it.
Wow, I'm so glad that you're here. And you touch on some deep stuff. When you talked about that self-condemnation, and that holds a lot of people stuck in back. They just feel like I'm condemned, I'm dirty. When I talked in my video about I didn't battle too much with the unworthiness, I was talking about that side of it. You know how some people battle with I did too much dirt. God can't possibly love me, or nobody could possibly want me because I feel disgusted. And because I talk and I counsel with people, and that's one big barrier that they battle with. They feel like, I'm like, none of us are worthy. If you want to get really real, that's what the love and the grace is all about. That's what the mercy is all about. Because as I mentioned, we come into this world of issues with issues. And so, none of us are deserving. Grace is not given because of merit. It's because of it's unmerited favor, and it takes a while for people to get it. And I know that's a process. But my thing is, when you get it, then you get to embrace and understand, like, wow, okay. And God don't look like, when we accept God and in our hearts and his son, he don't look at us. He sees the righteousness of his son. So it's like, he forgets all about that, And so that's the thing that people have to really get. And then you receiving his forgiveness. Did it take you a long time to receive God's forgiveness for you, to really believe that he forgave you, Melissa?
It's so interesting that you said that, because yes, it is very hard when you've lived gutter snipe living, it is hard to conceive that there is a being that looks beyond that, because us and our flesh, it's so incredibly bad and we know that they are bad things that we have done and unimaginable things. How could anyone forgive that? But that is how great and mighty God is. But to answer your question, yes, it took a very long time, I beat myself up for so long because I had, in my addiction, I lost custody of my daughter. And this is in my book, but I actually stood before Judge Judy. Judge Judy was a family court judge, and in 1993, I stood before her to get custody of my daughter. I lost custody, but that particular instance, it took me a very, very, very long time to forgive myself. I mean, a really long time.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
That, and I can safely say sometimes I'll get a nudge, and it's still. It's still because as a mother,
right?
You bring this being into the world, and you want to be the best mother you can be to this little individual. And when you fail that baby, it just tears into your soul. Now I know God forgives me. I know I have been forgiven long ago. But to answer your question, it does take a long time,
right,
to forgive yourself.
Right.
And how I did that was counseling.
Mm-hmm.
A tremendous amount of counseling. The 12-step program helped because you work steps and things like that.
Right.
But you talking it out.
Yes.
Getting that relationship with the Lord, going to church. It's all of those things collectively, right, that help. And then not repeating,
right,
the offense.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So but yeah, it takes a long time. It takes a long time, and people do beat themselves up.
Yeah, that's true. That is definitely true. When you was talking, I was wondering, what kind of support did you have? I know you had support with the, going to the 12-step meeting. Was anybody else outside or family members that was supportive of you when you was going through your process of healing and deliverance and all that stuff?
Well, my entire family, as you're part of my family, but family, a supportive family is very important. And I'm just grateful for the family that God gave me,
right?
Because they are so forgiving, and they never made me feel badly, even in the midst of those tumultuous days when I would come around to the cookouts and the weddings or what have you. They showed me love.
Right.
They showed me love. They didn't look down at me.
Right.
You know, they showed me love. But when I did get clean, I had the support of my family. They were like my personal cheerleaders.
Awesome. Okay.
And they're, you know, I had cousins, aunties, you know, that I could talk to,
Right.
you know. But it's important to have support.
Absolutely. Wow. I'm getting that little message from Zoom like, you got 8 minutes left. I'm like, all right. But you said something so pivotal and a turning point. You said you met yourself, the woman you are today. I want you to expound. I think that's awesome. You met yourself. You got to know who you were, what God gave you and what he ordained, who he ordained you to be. And you met that person. How was that experience? That's just awesome.
When I say that, because, you know, when I didn't have, I had such a low picture of myself for so long, and people would tell me the gifts that I had, the beauty in me. You know, I'm not talking about physical beauty,
Right?
About the spirit in me.
Yeah.
But it took me that personal relationship with God that helped me to love myself.
Right.
And personal positive affirmations. Right. I read a lot. You know, Ayanna Van Zandt, Joyce Meyer, T.D. Jakes. I read a lot. So I pour into myself with reading and with women's groups and things of that nature. So getting poured into helps for the belief to come out.
That's right.
And so that's how I met myself, through the women's groups and through the forums and summits and things of that nature, and getting the confidence to speak in front of people. Yeah. And that's how I met myself. And
you like yourself. I think that's the thing, is liking yourself. Like, I like myself.
I do.
No more apologizing. That's the freedom I was getting. I'm not apologizing for the way I am. I'm not apologizing for the way I talk, and none of that. It's like, when I got that revelation, I was good. I'm like, yes. Because we all broken. We all walk with a limp in some area. And so once I understood that everybody falls short, that scripture is so real. I'm like, that way you don't walk around comparing yourself and dealing with all that. And because, you know, we women do that a lot. That I call it a catty spirit, that competitive spirit, and all that. And you walk in that confidence. And as I always say, then you embrace your sister and your brother. You can do that because you understand you got something unique and they got something unique, and then you can celebrate the next person. That's when
right.
You know I've moved up to another level and walking in liberty. Before we go, because I got a few more minutes, I want you to mention your book and let us know where we can find your awesome book that you just wrote.
Well, I am so very happy and proud. And I have to say, my cousin Cheryl, thank you, because my cousin helped me along the way with getting it published and edited and just all the resources. And I got it done. It took me a year to write. I was prompted from my mother year after year after year. You should write a book. You should write a book. You should write a book. So I did. And it was a labor of love. It was hard. It was painful because I had to live some things, but I did it. And I remember my cousin Cheryl ran to my house because she wanted to see the physical copy. And praise God together in my dining room.
Wow.
And it's called Going Through the Pain, My Life Story. And it's my life story from beginning to right now. And it's on Amazon and it's on Kindle, and it's raw. It's raw and it's real. And everybody that has read it said they liked it. So to God be the glory.
I love it. And see, that's how people to get that you can live in your dream, you can actualize your vision, things that you want to do for so long, and then you can actually do it. It's real, it's possible. And so that's so awesome. You got tangible evidence. I remember the day my book came to the house. I was like, oh my God. I write since a little girl. I like to write, and so I know the feeling. Oh my God, it's like you got this accomplished. You did it.
Yes.
You're ready to do the next thing. Like, all right, God, what's next? I love it. I love it. I love it. If you want to, let anybody know how they can, get in, if they want to follow you on social media, whatever, you can give them your Facebook page, whatever it is you want to do. If anybody want to connect with Melissa, like, as she said, she speaks at prisons and schools and colleges, wherever God leads her, libraries, wherever, women's groups, men's groups. She's available for that. She's an awesome speaker, and she's real, like she said, and she's raw. And that's what get people healed. That real raw stuff that a lot of us don't want to dig deep into, but it's so important to go to that place, because then somebody's like, wow, that's why I mentioned in one of the emails, we coming down your street, because, we want to pull you up. We want you to live. We want you to be on fire and get your zeal back and that joy back, that joy for living. Come out of depression, come out of whatever it is that you're going through, whatever's keeping you gloomy. Connect with people.
Back.
Yes. You've heard all of us say how we reached out to other people, and that's where it starts, because a lot of times when we get stuck and we isolate ourselves, how people go into retreat mode and dig themselves in a deeper hole. But it's once you start to reach out to people, I'm telling you, it's a blessing, because you surround yourself by those who are supportive. And it may not be family members. It may be somebody who don't even know your story, which sometimes is the best, because they don't have any kind of preconceived, and I love the scriptures coming to me right now, how Jesus was not accepted in his own hometown, but when he went other places, he was more accepted. Nobody's walking around saying, I remember when Melissa, and I remember when Cheryl. They don't get none of that. All they see is just this powerful man, and they know that they need him. And a lot of times we're too familiar with people, so that's why a lot of people they don't receive us, because they're too familiar with us. So you become more powerful in other places, but that's the way the world is. What can you say? But
yes.
I thank you so much for being one of the speakers of this summit. I'm so happy that you shared your story. I know somebody was blessed and touched by your story. And everybody else, let me see. I got one more person to interview. After that, we are done. You can catch the replays of the speakers and watch this one more time.
I can be reached on Facebook, Melissa Clare Hobson, and I can be reached on Instagram at NYQD. And like Cheryl said, I'm available to speak anywhere. I love doing it. That's my gift from God through me.
Awesome. See, to know that. That's awesome. That's right. Melissa Clare Hobson. And what was the other one? On Instagram? You said Instagram?
Instagram at NYQT.
Okay. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Stay tuned for that one more interview, and we're going to wrap the whole thing up. But I'm just so thankful. Thank you, Melissa, again for coming and joining us and just being such a blessing and a light. Your spirit was just perfect. Awesome. And that's what we need to lift up people. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you again. Be blessed.